In the dimly lit streets of New York City, the tension was palpable. The rival mafia families, the Rosettis and the Salvatores, had been at each other's throats for years. The city's underworld was on edge, waiting for the next inevitable clash. Luca Rosetti, the young and ambitious leader of the Rosetti family, was sitting in his office at the back of his club, the Golden Lion. He stared at the photographs scattered across his mahogany desk. They were surveillance photos of key members of the Salvatore family. Luca's blue eyes were cold and calculating as he planned his next move. "Tonight, we strike," Luca announced to his trusted lieutenants gathered around him. "We take out Vito Salvatore. Without him, the Salvatores will fall apart." Vito Salvatore was the ruthless head of the Salvatore family. Known for his brutality and cunning, he had been a thorn in Luca's side for far too long. The plan was to ambush Vito at one of his warehouses on the docks, where he was scheduled to oversee a shipment of illegal arms. As night fell, Luca and his men moved silently through the shadows. The moonlight glinted off the barrels of their guns as they approached the warehouse. Luca gave a signal, and his men took their positions. Inside the warehouse, Vito was surrounded by his loyal men. He was inspecting the crates of weapons when the first shots rang out. The window shattered, and chaos erupted. Luca's men stormed in, guns blazing. The air was thick with smoke and the deafening roar of gunfire. Luca moved with precision and deadly intent. He spotted Vito near the back of the warehouse and made his way through the fray. Vito saw him coming and pulled out his own weapon. The two men locked eyes, hatred burning between them. They exchanged fire, each shot narrowly missing its target. Luca ducked behind a crate, reloading his gun. Vito used the moment to reposition himself, taking cover behind a forklift. The warehouse was a battlefield, littered with bodies and echoes of violence. Luca knew he had to end this quickly. He signaled to one of his men, who threw a smoke grenade towards Vito's position. The warehouse filled with thick, choking smoke. Using the cover, Luca moved in closer. Through the haze, Luca saw Vito's silhouette. He aimed carefully and fired. The bullet hit Vito in the shoulder, causing him to drop his gun. Luca moved in swiftly, kicking the weapon away and pinning Vito to the ground. "It's over, Vito," Luca growled, pressing his gun to Vito's temple. Vito sneered, blood trickling from his wound. "You think this ends with me, Rosetti? My men will hunt you down." Luca's expression was cold and unyielding. "Not if I find them first." With a final, decisive movement, Luca pulled the trigger. The sound of the gunshot echoed through the now silent warehouse. Vito Salvatore was dead. Luca stood up, breathing heavily. His men gathered around him, victorious but weary. The battle had been won, but the war was far from over. The streets of New York would remain a dangerous place as long as power and greed ruled the hearts of men. As Luca left the warehouse, the first rays of dawn were breaking through the skyline. He knew that this victory was just one step in a long and bloody journey. But for now, the Rosetti family stood strong, and Luca Rosetti was ready to face whatever came next.